This is USPS 955 Practice Test Mixed Number 1. The goal is not just to memorize answers. The goal is to train the way you look at the question. Because the 955 style is not only about knowing facts. It is about slowing down, reading the setup, following the diagram, noticing direction, counting paths, matching shapes, choosing the tool that actually fits the job, and avoiding the most common mistake, guessing too fast. This mixed set includes mechanical reasoning, electrical circuits, spatial reasoning, tool identification, pulley logic, series versus parallel thinking, view matching, and maintenance logic. So treat this like a real mini-test. Pause before each answer. Try to solve it before the answer key. If you get one wrong, do not just say, "I missed it." Ask why you missed it. Did you rush? Did you ignore the diagram? Did you assume instead of trace? Did you forget the basic rule? That is how practice becomes useful. The best rule is simple. Think before you guess. Question 1 is a gear direction question. Gear A turns clockwise. The question asks, which way does gear D turn? The most important rule is this: every touching gear reverses direction. So if one gear turns clockwise, the next gear turns counterclockwise. Then the next gear flips again. Then the next gear flips again. Do not try to imagine the whole system at once. Just move one gear at a time. Gear A turns clockwise. Gear B touches gear A, so gear B turns counterclockwise. Gear C touches gear B, so gear C turns clockwise. Gear D touches gear C, so gear D turns counterclockwise. The answer is B, counterclockwise. The mistake people make is trying to jump directly from gear A to gear D. Do not jump. Track every gear change. If there are 2 gears, they turn opposite directions. If there are 3 gears, the first and third turn the same direction. If there are 4 gears, the first and fourth turn opposite directions. Here, gear D ends up opposite of gear A, so the correct answer is B. Track every gear change. Question 2 is a simple circuit question. The question asks, what happens when the switch closes? The key idea is that current needs a complete path. If the path is open, current does not flow. If the path is closed, current can flow through the circuit. On the diagram, the battery is connected to the circuit, the switch is open at first, and the bulbs are part of the same complete loop once the switch closes. When the switch closes, the circuit becomes complete. That means current can leave the battery, travel through the wire, pass through the bulbs, and return back to the battery. Because both bulbs are included in the completed circuit, both bulbs light. The answer is A, both bulbs light. The mistake here is looking only at the switch and forgetting to trace the full path. In electrical questions, always trace the route. Start at the power source. Move through the switch, move through the loads, then see whether the path returns back to the source. If the path is complete, current can flow. If both bulbs are in the completed path, both bulbs can light. So the correct answer is A, follow the path. Question 3 is a spatial reasoning question. The diagram shows a folded sheet of paper with a hole punched through the folded corner. The question asks, which pattern matches after the paper is unfolded? This type of question is about symmetry. When paper is folded and then punched, the hole does not stay in only one place. When the paper unfolds, the hole reflects across the fold line. If there are multiple folds, the hole may reflect more than once. Here, the folded corner creates a mirrored pattern when opened, so you should not only look at where the visible hole is. You need to mentally unfold the paper and place the matching holes in the mirrored positions. The correct pattern is the one that shows the holes appearing symmetrically from the fold. For this slide, the correct answer is C. The reason is that the hole placement unfolds into a diagonal repeated pattern that matches the fold orientation. The mistake people make is choosing the answer that looks closest to the visible folded paper, instead of imagining the paper opening back up. For folded paper questions, slow down and ask, where is the fold? Which direction does the paper open? Where does the punched hole mirror? Spatial questions reward careful mental unfolding. Look for symmetry. The correct answer is C. Question 4 is a tool identification question. The question asks, which tool is best for tightening a hex head bolt? The answer choices show an adjustable wrench, a Phillips screwdriver, needle nose pliers, and a putty knife. A hex head bolt has flat sides. It is designed to be gripped by a wrench or socket, so the best choice here is the adjustable wrench. The answer is A. Adjustable wrench. A Phillips screwdriver is designed for Phillips screws, not hex head bolts. Needle nose pliers are useful for gripping small parts, bending wire, or reaching into tight spaces, but they are not the best tool for tightening a hex head bolt. A putty knife is used for scraping, spreading compound, or applying filler, not tightening fasteners. The simple rule is, match the tool to the fastener. A screw needs the right screwdriver. A nut or bolt head usually needs a wrench or socket. A wire may need pliers. A surface material may need a scraper or putty knife. The tool has to fit the job. So for a hex head bolt, choose the wrench. The correct answer is A. Question 5 is a pulley question. The question asks, which setup requires less force to lift the load? The key rule is, count the supporting rope sections. A fixed pulley mostly changes the direction of force. It lets you pull down to lift up, which can be convenient, but it does not usually reduce the amount of force needed by much. A movable pulley can reduce the force required because more than one rope section supports the load. In setup A, the pulley is fixed above the load. The load is supported by one main rope section. That gives little mechanical advantage. In setup B, the pulley moves with the load. The load is supported by multiple rope sections. That means the force is shared across more rope segments, so less pulling force is needed. The answer is B, setup B. The common mistake is thinking every pulley reduces effort. It does not. A fixed pulley changes direction. A movable pulley can reduce effort. So when you see a pulley question, do not just count pulleys. Count the rope sections actually supporting the load. More supporting rope sections usually means less force needed. Setup B has the mechanical advantage. The correct answer is B. Question 6 is about series and parallel circuits. The question asks, if one bulb burns out, which circuit keeps the other bulb on? This is a classic one-path versus two-path problem. In a series circuit, the components share one path. Current has to pass through each component in order. If one bulb burns out, the path breaks. When the path breaks, current stops flowing through the whole circuit. So in a series circuit, one failed bulb can turn off the others. In a parallel circuit, each bulb has its own branch. That means there is more than one path for current. If one bulb burns out, the other branch can still have a complete path. So the other bulb can stay on. The answer is B, parallel. The mistake people make is looking at the bulbs instead of the paths. Do not ask only, how many bulbs are there? Ask, how many current paths are there? Series means one path. Parallel means separate paths. If the question asks which circuit keeps working when one load fails, parallel is usually the answer. So the correct answer is B, one path versus two paths. Question 7 is a spatial views question. The question asks, which top view matches the block shape? This kind of question tests whether you can translate a three-dimensional object into a two-dimensional view. The trick is to ignore height. A top view does not care how tall each block is. It only cares which spaces are occupied when you look straight down from above. So do not count the stacked height. Do not choose the option that shows the tallest column. Do not try to draw the front view. Only ask, what footprint does the shape make on the floor? Looking at the block arrangement, the base footprint forms a row with an extra square positioned behind the middle area. That matches the option with a 3-square base and 1 square above the center. The correct answer is C. Option A is only a straight line, which misses the extra depth. Option B places the added square off in a way that does not match the footprint. Option D shows a vertical line of squares, which does not match the top-down footprint. For these questions, always flatten the shape from above. Ignore height. Look at the occupied spaces. The correct answer is C. Question 8 is maintenance logic. The question asks, before replacing a blown fuse, what should you check first? The answer choices are, the cause of overload, paint color, floor level, window size. A blown fuse is usually a symptom. It may mean too much current flowed through the circuit. It may point to an overload, short, faulty equipment, or another electrical problem. So before simply replacing the fuse, the correct step is to check the cause of the overload. The answer is A, the cause of overload. This question is really testing safety thinking. In maintenance work, you do not only replace the failed part and walk away if the failure could come from a dangerous condition. You ask why it failed. If a fuse blew because of an overload, and you replace it without correcting the problem, the fuse may blow again. Worse, the underlying problem may create a safety hazard. Paint color has nothing to do with a blown fuse. Floor level has nothing to do with the electrical fault. Window size is irrelevant. The best maintenance answer is the one that finds the root cause. Fix the cause, not just the symptom. The correct answer is A. Now here is the answer key for mixed practice test number 1. Question 1. B gear D turns counterclockwise because every touching gear reverses direction. Question 2. A both bulbs light because closing the switch completes the circuit path. Question 3. C. The folded paper hole punch unfolds into the matching symmetrical pattern. Question 4. An adjustable wrench is the best choice for tightening a hex head bolt. Question 5. B setup B requires less force because the movable pulley has more supporting rope sections. Question 6. BA parallel circuit keeps the other bulb on because each bulb has its own path. Question 7. C. The top view ignores height and matches the footprint of the blocks. Question 8. A. Before replacing a blown fuse, check the cause of the overload. Now score yourself honestly. If you got 7 or 8 correct, that is a strong start. If you got 5 or 6 correct, you have a good base, but you need more practice. If you got 0 to 4 correct, do not panic. That simply means you need to review the basics before moving faster. Practice shows what to fix. The goal is not to look smart on the first attempt. The goal is to learn how the questions think. Gear direction, circuit paths, spatial symmetry, tool matching, mechanical advantage, series versus parallel, top views, maintenance logic. That is how you improve for the USPS 955.